afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Steve Live, a new special edition with the investment series. That's correct. How are you doing, Allegonians? I am so pleased to be on Joseph Howe right now, 3155 Joseph Howe, to give you a proof that for us, planting a seed of hope, faith, positive and optimistic view and vision is in our minds. Come to see our garden of hope right up front. Now, I'm not talking about directly a garden today. I will be having on our show one person very dear to my heart, a great friend who has entered this world to make a difference. I would like to invite you, studio audience, to Nick Harvey-Pearson. Nick Harvey-Pearson. Have a seat. How are you doing today, Nick?
Great, Steve, and you?
Thank you very much for asking. I'm doing fantastic as well. Nick, I would like to thank you for being with us on this wonderful Friday on the couch. Nick, first, before anything else, is a real estate agent, and he's also a property investment expert to change the lifestyle of Allegonians with Century Team 1 Realty Century 21. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Quebec City.
Quebec City, yes.
That's right. I moved here in 1998.
Right.
But I did my junior high school like everybody else, right?
Yes.
And then went to university in Quebec.
Right.
I had the chance to grow up in a family of 8 brothers and sisters.
Oh, wow.
So sometimes there was too much money at the end of the money. Sometimes, you know what I mean? When
Yes.
you raise 8 kids like that under one roof.
Right.
We weren't super fortunate, but we did what we had to, and we grow with great values. And I love my family, but I just wanted to say that it wasn't, the rich life, and I want to
Yes.
give the community and try to teach people about how to get wealthier now.
Right.
This day, so I went to Laval University and I did a degree in education. So spend like everybody else. 30, 40,000, to do 3 or 4 years in university.
Right.
And sometimes you feel like you don't get that returns, right? Of everything
that
that
is
you
so
spend
true.
in education, right? So it's such a lot, right? But sometimes you learn a lot and it helps.
Yeah.
So that's a little bit about me. I mean, what brought me here one day when I was going to Petit Séminaire de Quebec for international baccalaureate.
Bachelor's, yes.
Between the high school and the university in Quebec, you have 2 years that you must do for preparation to university.
Right.
So I was there, and just walking downtown Quebec City, and I saw join us, and it was the military. So I said, why not joining? I went in and did an interview and decided to trade. And I went in the military, and that's what brought me east or west. Okay. That's what helped me pay for my university, right?
That is great.
Each summer.
What trade were you in the military? I'm sure our viewers will be curious to know that.
Well, after I was done my degree, I started to teach here, right?
Okay.
And my trade was an NCIF, but I really worked more in other things than NCIF. I worked as a force protection section of the military police for like so many years.
Oh.
And it was really interesting. But when I first moved here in 98, I was done my degree and I wanted to take another contract.
Right.
So I worked in that summer, right? And then I decided to go full-time as a teacher.
Yes.
And I went and taught 3 years here at Carrefour.
The Carrefour?
And Eastern Passage Education Center.
Yeah.
I know the Carrefour and all that. And then after 3 years of teaching, military said, "Hey, we got more money for you and way less work."
Who would say no?
Yeah, it was tough, right?
We'll say a salute, by the way, to everybody from Department of National Defense in Halifax.
That's right.
Bonjour.
All the dedicated people, fighting for us and keeping our country safe. Right?
Absolutely.
Really important. And so worked for DND for 4 or 5 years after that in the force protection. It was a great unit to work for, and because you were in 5 days and off 5 days, I could do other things on the side.
Right.
And some of the other things was I meet at the kitchen table with families, helping them about money. So I was a financial representative for a huge company that at the time
That was very sweet from you.
part of Citigroup. Well, it was just try to learn and have all this time, right? Try to learn about money. So I started educating myself way back, and about 10 years ago, about the rules of money, about end up with that company, PFSL Investments, and just a financial company to help people at the kitchen table. There's all kinds of companies doing great things for people out there, but I was one of them, and I learned a lot. And after being with that company for a few years, Steve, and making a difference in people's finance, and the more I study about money, the more I decided, well, what type of investment will help me reach my goals faster? What kind of vehicle? And that's where I went full time in.
What type of investments in what type of vehicle? I wish to highlight those keywords. Remember those whenever you think about me, Harvey. Continue.
No, you're totally right. And at that time, I decided, you know what? I love this company. They're doing great things for people.
Yes.
But for me, the most important vehicle will be real estate. And I just went in full time after that, and never looked back, right? So, so that's pretty much in a nutshell what brought me here today. Within the military and the real estate, I also started a company. So it was
started a company. Tell us more about that.
It's a little franchise called LionX.
LionX.
That's right. We were 2 partners.
Right.
And my other partners still have it, amazing gentlemen that did good with the business.
Okay.
But it was a lot of work starting a franchise, even, if it's a turning key operation, even if it was a lot of work. And I looked at my rental properties versus my franchise, and this was paying me more for less work. So that's another reason why I said, you know what, I sold the shares of the company to the other owner. And I decided to go full-time in the real estate because it was the easiest way to reach my goals. I believe it must be the easiest way to help the community reach their goal too.
Right.
So that's.
And when you say that it's an easier way to reach your goals,
that's right.
What are your goals for this show? Because he's been saying to me that this is a unique, and this is the only network you will be seeing this on, a unique series, ladies and gentlemen, where you Haligonians will have the privilege to become educated on.
Well, a lot of different. The most, I think, idea behind what we're talking about, Steve, that you just made me think of is that why is 5% of the Haligonian are having 95% of all the wealth? Why is 5% of the Canadians having 95% of the wealth? Why is 5% of the world having 95% of the wealth? Is that fair? That 95% of the population are fighting for, what I mean? It's like we're 10 people here. One person has 10 pie, and the other 9 are fighting for one piece. That doesn't seem really fair, does it?
No.
So what creating that, and the why of that situation, I think myself is a lack of maybe it's a teacher talking to me, I don't know, but it's kind of the lack of education.
Lack of education.
I don't know. Did you have a course when you were younger about personal finance yourself?
I had the chance to be with an entrepreneurial nursing, very caring mother who also did a administration. And I'll admit, at the age of 13, I found this place nearby the hospital where she was working, and I picked up blueberries.
Nice.
And I went around the block and just knocked on the doors and saying, look at my blueberries. And I'll tell you, I learned at that moment that whenever you have clients, when you have clients who really love your products, there was like this senior couple. They found me so cute at the age of 13 bringing my blueberries. They stocked up their entire freezer downstairs. So I ended up selling like 40 containers of those.
That's fantastic. So your mom helped you out.
Exactly.
Money, but you didn't have any classes, did you?
Yeah.
There was not any course, right? In elementary.
There are, but I would say that whenever people get to understand more the value, the how to manage money and everything else, especially in this country, and especially even in Halifax, where we have these projects like the Nova Center downtown. This shipbuilding contract, there's a lot of $60-something billion. So there's a lot of money coming in our way.
Definitely.
Right? So it's a matter for people to relearn how to and here's the good news. First of all, again, you will be able to learn on gogetitnow.biz TV itself, the house. Plus, you will see about the example of the Garden of Hope. Things are moving ahead daily. So coming back to you, Nick.
So like we were talking about, there's no rules for people to learn about money.
That's
there's
right.
no education in elementary school or junior high, even in university. You know, you go to university, you get in university your first day, you have a bunch of people that try to put credit cards on you, right? So you already got that 30,000-40,000 student loan, and now you got another 10 credit cards or 5 credit cards with $3,000 each. So you start really behind a lot.
You're right.
And and nobody's teaching us really how to get wealthy. So the why that we're such in the states that we are is, I think, is that we don't have financial education. So I think is why, now that we know the why, we can maybe look at how could we get out of this,
How can we manage more efficiently?
That's right. How can we get out of it?
Our money.
And that comes out to really simple way, the way Robert Kiyosaki or any great minds that have put it out there for us is, are you buying assets or are you buying liabilities?
You're right.
If you spend your life buying liabilities, do that. Where you spend more money, you know what I mean?
Yes,
and less,
absolutely.
And so that's going to make yourself over time, if you buy all those liabilities, kind of in that 95% of the people. Right. But if you're in the 5% of the people, you buy more assets. And there's only 3 types of assets. Okay. So we were talking about. Actually, our shows will be dedicated about people that have succeeded in those 3 types of assets.
Yes, local heroes.
Local heroes.
Yes, local heroes.
Anybody, we have Canadian heroes, international heroes, but mostly local heroes that we have the chance to grow because we're here, so it's easier for us to access them. But those 3 assets are paper assets.
Yes.
So how many mutual funds, stocks, things that I was doing at the kitchen table before you have. Because those are little babies that 24/7 grows for you. They have advantage and inconvenience of each of those assets. But that's one of those assets. Second one is business. Like I started Lion-X, so I can talk a little bit about that.
Yes.
It was a business. It was a small business with less than 250 employees. Right. But how many McDonald's do you have? You know what I mean? That you don't need to be there, but you make $250,000 cash a year with 16 years old that can't even do their bedrooms or running. How many of those do you have? Those are a great type of business. And those are definitely assets.
Absolutely.
The third one is real estate.
Yes.
And that's the one I cherish the most. That's the one that I would say 8 or 9 millionaires are created through real estate. Yes. All those 3 assets. And that's the one that I'm going to dedicate my life to teach people about it and teach my community to grow because I really believe in that type of assets. And this show will look at the 3 assets, right?
Absolutely.
And and a lifetime decisions on,
Yes.
you know, like what kind of society do we have right now?
Yes.
We have four types of working people.
Four types of working people.
We have an employees.
Right.
Employees work for a boss. They're looking for security, 9 to 5. And
Yes.
nothing wrong with employees, but you know there's many jobs that we need out there.
Right.
And the second one, it's self-employed.
Self-employed.
Self-employees are the people that doctors.
Doctors. Professionals.
Professional, yeah.
Yes.
You know, and would you agree that sometimes a doctor can maybe make more money than an employee?
Absolutely.
It's possible,
Well,
right?
doctors, surgeons, but also dentists,
That's right.
lawyers.
That's right. And these guys, but
Yes.
if the doctor is not in his office
Yeah.
and he's not
Yes.
punching those, medical cards,
Right.
is he making money?
No.
He needs to be in his office, so he
Yes.
is the product, right?
Yes.
So self-employed is good, but
Yes.
it's in those 95% of the population.
Absolutely.
Because it's so you got first employee, then
Right.
self-employed, then you go to the business owner level. Business owner level is you don't need to be there and you make money. And you can have
Correct.
a real estate business,
Yes.
you can have a paper asset business, you can have any other business that, you know what I mean? And that's another level of achievement as a business owner.
That's right.
And then you have the investors. If you're an investor tomorrow, Steve, you live off your money.
That's
You
right.
don't need to work anymore.
Thank you.
You have created enough, and you might not need a lot. You know what I mean? An
Yes.
employee might make 80,000,
Yes.
but for you, if you make $70,000 of passive income,
Mhm.
you might be happy with that. So you're actually making less the employee, but you don't
Go
need.
get it now. The business is growing.
Exactly.
That's right.
And so it depends on everybody. That you might be at investor level making
Yes.
less than employee, but you know what? You have the time you want to
That's
do what
right.
you want with the people you want, the way you want. I
That's
think
right.
that's financial freedom, and I
Yeah.
think people deserve it out there. So
Absolutely.
95% of the people are either employees or self-employed, and they're fighting for 5% of the money out there, and 5% of the people are either business owner or investors, and they're fighting for, they're not fighting, they own 95% of all the wealth out there. So there's a correlation, and our show is all about trying to change minds in the society, trying to help people to grow.
Trying to change mind, and we will be able to succeed because how we have designed this series is to bring, as we said, excuse me, we will bring local heroes, local people that will bring testimonials as to how we can. Because you're right, everything is about changing what we think, right? The more we train our mind to think in a positive manner, the better things are.
Definitely, it's all about getting out of your comfort zone.
That's right.
You know,
Thinking in different way.
that's right, growing, change. You're totally right.
We would love to tell you more at this current point because we are sure that you have questions as to what is Linux and more. And here's what we're going to tell you. Stay tuned for
the next
more
show.
on
Go get it now.
gogetitnow.biz. Thank you for watching. Thanks a lot, Nick.
Good to see you, my
Great
friend.
to see you.
That's how much listen?